If you've ever felt lost in the sunscreen aisle or wondered which sunscreen is right for me, then you're not alone. I'll guide you through how to choose the most appropriate sunscreen for your skin type. We'll cover why sunscreen is a must, what it actually protects you from, the differences between mineral and chemical sunscreens, what SPF numbers really mean, and how to pick a formula for your skin type. I'll even tackle that burning question: does sunscreen cause cancer? Spoiler alert, no it does not, and I'll explain why. So let's dive right in. So why do doctors like me insist on daily sunscreen? In short, it's because sunlight isn't as harmless as it looks. Sunlight contains ultraviolet UV radiation, which is an invisible form of radiation that damages your skin at a cellular level. In fact, UV radiation is officially classified as a carcinogen, a cancer-causing substance. Even when you're not getting a sunburn, those rays can be causing a harmful effect. Consider this: up to 80% of sun's UV rays can penetrate clouds. That means even on a cloudy day or even during winter, your skin is still exposed to UV rays. Over a lifetime, this really adds up. As a doctor, I see patients with sun-damaged skin all the time, from premature wrinkles to skin cancers. Sunscreen is like your daily shield against this damage. The sun emits two main types of ultraviolet rays: UVA and UVB. UVA penetrates deep and causes premature aging, so think of A for aging. UVB is what causes sunburns, so B for burning. Regardless of the SPF, all sunscreens wear off after a couple of hours, sooner if you're swimming or sweating. No matter the SPF number, you need to reapply every 2 hours when in the sun, and immediately after swimming or after heavy sweating. Also remember that SPF is primarily about UVB protection. A sunscreen could be SPF 100 and still not protect much against UVA if it's not a broad spectrum sunscreen. So always pair the SPF number with words broad spectrum to ensure you're covered for both UVA and UVB. In simpler terms, SPF 30 or higher, broad spectrum is the magic formula recommended by skin specialists in order to get the proper daily protection. So when you're choosing a sunscreen, don't stress too much about looking for SPF 50, SPF 70, just go for something that's SPF 30 or above, but make sure you apply it generously and it's reapplied every 2 hours if you're out in the sun. Essentially, using an SPF 30 generously and making sure you reapply regularly is better than using an SPF 100 and applying it sparingly and just once. Pick a number 30 or above that you feel comfortable using and focus on applying enough, about an ounce for your body and a teaspoon for your face, and make sure you reapply regularly. Okay, so let's get a bit specific. What exactly are we preventing by using SPF every day? Sunscreen helps us guard against skin cancer. This is the big one. UV radiation can damage the DNA in your skin cells, leading to mutations that cause skin cancer. This includes basal cell carcinoma and squamous cell carcinoma. These are the more common and often treatable skin cancers. But it also protects you against melanomas, which is the deadliest form of skin cancer. Studies show that UVB rays from the sun can cause DNA mutations that eventually lead to melanomas. By wearing sunscreen, you're significantly cutting down that risk. In fact, research shows that sunburns, those painful peeling burns, play a strong role in developing melanomas, and sunscreen helps prevent those. Sunscreen is also good at preventing premature aging. So if you want to keep your skin looking young and healthy, then sunscreen is key. UV rays, especially UVA rays, penetrate deep and break down collagen and elastin in your skin. This is what leads to wrinkles, fine lines, and age spots. In fact, UVA rays are largely responsible for premature aging. Research shows that up to 80 to 90% of visible skin aging is due to sun exposure. While the exact percentage can vary, there's no doubt the sun is the biggest culprit behind wrinkles and leathery skin. By wearing sunscreen daily, you're essentially using the best anti-aging product available, one that really works to prevent those wrinkles and sunspots before they start. Sunscreen is great at preventing hyperpigmentation and dark spots. If you have areas of uneven skin, dark spots, melasma, or post-acne marks, the sun is their worst enemy. UV rays and even visible light from the sun can darken those spots and make pigmentation problems worse. Sunscreen helps prevent existing spots from getting darker and from new ones forming. Research has shown that visible light can increase hyperpigmentation, especially in darker skin tones. The good news is, using a broad spectrum sunscreen, particularly a tinted one, I'll go into this in a bit more detail later, can protect your skin from those wavelengths and keep your skin tone more even. In summary, sunscreen protects you from skin cancer, sunburn, premature aging, and pigmentation. It's not just about avoiding cancer, although obviously that's a huge benefit. It's also about keeping your skin healthy and youthful. So whether you want to avoid a deadly melanoma or just keep your complexion clear and smooth, sunscreen has you covered. Literally. Now that we know why we need sunscreen, let's figure out what kind to use. You've probably seen sunscreen labelled as mineral or chemical. So what's the difference, and does it really matter which one you use? Chemical sunscreens work by absorbing UV rays like a sponge. They contain organic compounds, oxybenzone, that soak up UV radiation and convert it into tiny amounts of heat. When you apply a chemical sunscreen, it tends to rub in clear and feels quite light on the skin. However, some people with sensitive skin might find certain chemical ingredients quite irritating, and it can often make areas of eczema or rosacea appear a bit worse. Whereas mineral sunscreens act more like a shield. They sit on top of the skin and reflect or scatter UV rays away from your skin. Mineral sunscreens use natural minerals as active ingredients, mainly zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. Some often use both. If you've seen a lifeguard with a white nose, that's the classic old school zinc oxide. Modern mineral sunscreens are more cosmetically elegant these days, and the pasty zinc of yesteryear are now gone, but they can still sometimes leave a slight white cast, especially on darker skin tones. And this is due to those mineral particles in the sunscreen. So which is better? Honestly, both types can protect well. It's more about what your skin tolerates and what you actually wear. Chemical formulas tend to be easier to rub in with no white residue, so many people prefer them for daily use and especially under makeup. Mineral formulas are great for people with sensitive skin. The zinc and the titanium oxide are gentle and are unlikely to cause reactions. An added bonus is that they're active and effective immediately upon application to your skin, whereas chemical sunscreens usually should be applied 15 to 20 minutes before sun exposure so that they can bind to the skin. Many chemical sunscreens combine multiple ingredients to cover the full UV spectrum, and mineral sunscreens with zinc oxide naturally cover UVA and UVB quite well. So the choice between chemical versus mineral often comes down to personal preference. If you hate any white cast and your skin isn't too reactive, a modern chemical sunscreen is fine. If you have very sensitive or acne-prone skin or just prefer natural ingredients, a mineral sunscreen could be best suited for you. There are also hybrid sunscreens that contain both mineral and chemical filters, aiming for you to get the best of both worlds. The bottom line is, whichever you choose, make sure it's broad spectrum sunscreen. Make sure that you enjoy wearing it because consistency is everything. So what's the best sunscreen for your skin type? Just remember, sunscreens aren't one size fits all. The best sunscreen for you also depends on your skin type and personal needs. Let's go through some common scenarios and what to look for on the labels. If you have acne or tend to get oily or shiny through the day, you'll want a sunscreen that doesn't clog your pores and feels lightweight. Look for terms like non-comedogenic, which means they won't clog your pores, and ones that say oil-free on the label. Gels or fluid lotions are great for oily skin because they feel less greasy and won't add that extra shine. Many chemical sunscreens come in ultra-light gel formulas that disappear into the skin. There are also lightweight mineral options nowadays. Some use zinc and that gives you that matte finish. Another tip is that some sunscreens include ingredients like niacinamide, which can help soothe acne and reduce oiliness. If you find that sunscreens often break you out, keep experimenting with different types, different formulas, so gels versus creams. Try different chemical or mineral sunscreens until you find the one that you like. I promise you will find one that suits your skin. It just takes a bit of trial and error. For dry skin, hydration is key. A moisturizing sunscreen in the form of a cream could double up as your moisturizer as well as your sunscreen. Creams are best for dry skin because they are more nourishing and provide extra hydration. Look for sunscreens with added hydrators like hyaluronic acid, glycerin or ceramides to lock in that extra moisture. A richer sunscreen will protect you and prevent your skin from drying out or flaking. If your skin is very dry, you might even layer a regular moisturizer underneath the sunscreen. If you flush easily, have rosacea, eczema or generally reactive skin, mineral sunscreens are often your best option. Zinc oxide and titanium dioxide tend to be gentle and non-irritating. Chemical sunscreens, on the other hand, can sometimes cause stinging or redness in sensitive individuals. Stick to sunscreens labelled for sensitive skin or gentle. Also choose formulas with no fragrance or alcohol. Mineral sunscreens today come in better textures than they did before, so you can find options that don't feel too thick. One of the common complaints I get from my patients with darker skin tones is that many sunscreens, especially mineral ones, can leave a white cast or an ashy cast when applied. This happens because of those mineral ingredients sitting on the skin. To avoid that look for sunscreens that are sheer or have an invisible formula. Many newer chemical sunscreens go on completely clear on all skin tones. And if you really want to try a mineral sunscreen, then try a tinted sunscreen. Tinted sunscreens have iron oxide pigments that help blend into the skin better. The tint gives protection against visible light, which can further prevent darkening of hyperpigmentation. I often recommend tinted sunscreens for conditions like melasma or persistent dark spots, because the added visible light protection can make a really big difference. So if you have a richer skin tone or concerns about discoloration, a tinted broad spectrum SPF could be a game changer. Plus, it can double up as a light foundation. If you wear makeup, consider using a sunscreen that layers well under makeup, or even a tinted sunscreen can replace your foundation. Many sunscreen lotions now are designed to act like a primer. They're quite smoothing under the makeup and can have a non-greasy effect. And remember, if your makeup has SPF, like SPF 15 foundation, it's a nice touch, but it's usually not enough to provide any sun protection. Sunscreen in makeup usually doesn't provide the recommended SPF levels. Often it's only SPF 5 to 15, and you really want something that's SPF 30 or above. So think of any SPF in makeup as a bonus, but still apply a dedicated sunscreen underneath your makeup for full protection. Right, a quick note on formats. Sunscreens come as lotions, creams, gels, sticks, sprays, powders. Use whatever format helps you and make sure that you reapply it consistently. For example, sticks are great to be used around the eyes, and sprays are great for kids. You can just spray it everywhere and massage it into the skin. And powders are great for touching up your sunscreen when you're out and about. You can use it on top of makeup as well. The key to any sunscreen is to be generous with it and make sure you apply it evenly. And don't forget, the best sunscreen is the one you'll use every day consistently. Using it consistently is more important than finding the perfect formula. Right, now it's time to address a concern that I know some of you have heard on social media for the last few years. Does sunscreen cause cancer? Let me clear this up loud and clear. No, sunscreen does not cause cancer. In fact, it's the opposite. Sunscreen helps prevent skin cancer. There's no scientific evidence that wearing sunscreen leads to cancer. This myth likely started because of a few misunderstanding and fear-mongering headlines. There were some older studies that found people with skin cancer were the ones who were also wearing sunscreen, but it turned out that they were actually wearing the sunscreen only occasionally, but still sunbathing and exposing themselves to long periods of UV radiation. It wasn't the sunscreen causing cancer. It was actually the excess UV radiation they got when they were mistakenly thought that using occasional sunscreen was good enough protection. When you account for the sun exposure, sunscreen users have a lower risk of skin cancer, not higher. You might be thinking, so what about those scary sounding chemical names? It's true that sunscreen ingredients, like any substance, are absorbed to some extent by the body, but decades of research and real-world use have not shown any evidence of harm in humans. To give you some context, one ingredient, oxybenzone, got bad press as a potential hormone disruptor, but no conclusive evidence has shown it causes problems in people. And remember, any theoretical risk from these chemicals is vastly outweighed by the known real risk of UV radiation causing skin cancer and damage. There was also a recall a while back of some sunscreens due to contamination with benzene. This is a cancer-causing chemical, and it's not actually supposed to be in sunscreen. This understandably freaks people out, but it was specific to a manufacturer and a manufacturing issue, and it wasn't an inherent problem for all sunscreens. As doctors, we still recommend using sunscreen. Just buy quality products from reputable brands. If you are worried, you can always choose mineral sunscreens, which sit on the skin and don't get absorbed much into the body. But again, regular sunscreen use is safe and it saves lives by preventing skin cancer. So next time someone tries to tell you sunscreen is dangerous, you can confidently say that the real danger is from not wearing sunscreen. The science is clear on this. There is no medical evidence that sunscreen causes cancer, but there's lots of evidence that UV rays do. I want to emphasize that sunscreen is important for literally everyone, for all skin types, not just for those who burn easily, and not only for people who are obsessed with skincare. Everyone who has skin will benefit from sun protection. If you have specific skin concerns like acne, melasma, rosacea, or a history of skin cancer, then sunscreen is a no-brainer. It's crucial for managing all of those issues. So if you're treating acne and not using sunscreen, those acne marks will darken and hang around for longer. If you're using anti-aging products like retinol or acids, by skipping sunscreen, you're undoing all the good work that these actives are doing, and the UV radiation will just keep damaging your skin. Even if you think your skin handles the sun well, or you have deeper skin tone and you think, I don't burn easily, you still need sun protection. People with darker skin tones might not turn red, but they can still get sun damage. You can still develop hyperpigmentation, wrinkles, and yes, skin cancer too. Without sunscreen, you're fighting an uphill battle because new sun damage will just undermine any good results. The great thing is that today's sunscreens are even better than ever. There are options for every skin tone, every skin type, and everyone's lifestyle. It might take a little trial and error to find your favorite, but once you do, it should become part of your daily routine, just like brushing your teeth. And trust me, your skin will be grateful in 10 to 20 years, and it will thank you for wearing sunscreen every day. Sunscreen is a daily essential because it protects you from skin cancer, prevents premature aging, and keeps hyperpigmentation in check. Choose a broad spectrum SPF 30 or higher, and make sure you choose one that suits your skin type, whether that's a lightweight gel for oily skin, a hydrating cream for dry skin, a gentle mineral formula for sensitive skin, or even a tinted sunscreen to blend in with your skin tone. The most appropriate sunscreen is the one that you will use consistently. And don't forget to reapply when you're out in the sun. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more skincare tips. Feel free to share this with a friend who might need a sunscreen reminder. And if you have any questions or want to share your favorite sunscreen, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Stay sun safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.